Hey there everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to talk to you about the A500 Mini. Now I know there are a few videos up here about this already. What I'm going to do is we're going to have a look at the official trailer, and now the 25 games have been announced that they're going to be releasing with the computer, which are going to be built into like their carousel style interface that they have. If it's anything like the Commodore 64 one, of course, which I'm sure it is. I'm sure it's made by the same people, Retro Games Limited, so I'm assuming they're going to have their games on a carousel like that. I'm going to give you my thoughts on the 25 games that are coming out, and also this video is also going to be saying what 25 games I'm actually going to add, because you can add games via WHDLoad, which I've never used, to be honest. I own all the Amiga games via that service, but I've never actually figured out how to use it properly. I've still got a working A500 in my house, so you know, if I want to play a game I generally play it on that, but I'm intrigued to get the Mini for a number of reasons which we'll go over later on. But yes, the Amiga 500 is my favourite computer I think that I've ever owned. I remember when it was released in 1987, I was absolutely I was 13 years old. I was just turned 13 then. I was so excited to get this, and my dad went out and bought one. The Batman, the pack with Batman the movie and New Zealand Story, and I believe it had FA18 Interceptor and the deluxe paint in it. So it's a very famous pack. I'll try and flash a picture of it up on the screen as I'm talking, you know, so you can see what it was if you're not aware. But yes, a brilliant computer. Okay, so what we're going to do quickly is we'll have a look at the trailer now, the release trailer, and then we'll talk about it a little bit, maybe during as well, and I'll talk obviously more afterwards.
Peggy 12.
So here you're getting a look at obviously some of the games that are coming out with it. So it's going to be, obviously, like with all these mini consoles, a lot smaller version. Unfortunately, there's not a working keyboard with this, which I'm looking forward to the gamepad though. That is one thing I struggled with the C64 Maxi, which I have. Not a massive fan of the joystick. I think a lot of people have had problems with that. So to see a gamepad is nice, and I'm hoping that they're going to make it compatible with the C64 as well. So here you're getting a look at all the games, which we will talk about later a little bit more in depth. But it's nice to see them all working along here. I'm excited for a few of these games. A lot of these games I've never played, so that's the thing for me. There we go, 25th of March 2022. Still available on some websites for pre-order, I've noticed. I thought when it first came out that I would have to, you know, pre-order very early, because, you know, they were talking about chip shortages and everything else, but apparently it is being very heavily produced, and they're not, you know, they're making quite a lot of these, so they haven't sold out everywhere. I'll say that I know for a fact it's still available on Amazon, and I think some of the catalogues, I think Very and Studio, which I have accounts for, both still have them available for sale. So, you know, there are some out there if you haven't jumped on the bandwagon yet and want to get in there. Okay, firstly we're going to take a look at some of the games that are releasing with this. So a lot of these games I haven't actually played, or not much of anyway, not in depth enough to talk about them. The games I know very well: Alien Breed Special Edition 92, Another World, Arcade Pool, Battle Chess. I've played Cadaver, but I wouldn't say I'm an expert on that, but I know of it. California Games I've played, but mostly on the Commodore 64. Kickoff 2, one of my favourite games on the system, so I'm very excited that's on there. Paradroid 90, I think I might have played a little bit, but again, I don't remember anything about it. Pinball Dreams, good game. Never played Project X, Quacks, or Quack actually it's called. Simon the Sorcerer, no, again, know of it. Speedball 2, love it, love it, love it. There's a video for that already on my channel somewhere, which you can find. Stunt Car Racer, another game I love, is Supercars 2, Chaos Engine, these are all good games I've played. Lost Patrol I own. I always found it complicated, so didn't really get massively into it. Don't know anything about the Sentinel, Titus the Fox. I know of Worms obviously, but don't really think I played it that much. And Zool, again I played that a little bit, but a bit disappointed that some of these platformers are on there, I'll be honest, when there's things like Super Frog out there, which I think is a superior platform game personally, but again it's all about personal taste, isn't it? overall it's not a bad selection of games, to be honest. There's a few classics on there, but as with every time they release these consoles, obviously there's going to be games that you wish were on there that aren't. Now, as we've seen from the video, or actually we'll talk about now because I'm going to call up the picture of the Amiga and we will have a look through some of the specifications in better detail. Okay, so going through the advert on the website, it says introducing the A500 Mini, a compact reimagining of the Amiga 500 computer, featuring a perfect emulation of not only the original A500 but also the advanced graphics architecture AGA of the A1200. Now, I only ever owned an A500, so I've never played an A1200 before, or an A600, so I'm quite looking forward to having that experience, to be honest. Play one of the 25 classic Amiga games, included classic 25 Amiga games, sorry, selected from a simple to use carousel. There we go, so the carousel is on this one too. That's nice, the carousel. If you've never seen it on the Commodore 64, I'll show you it scrolling around at the moment, but you get like artwork, and you'll get a description of the game, like the producers and everything like that. This is a really nice setup they have on there. Then it lists some of the games which we've already talked about, so we won't list them again. Or load your own games via USB stick through the WHDLoad for a seamless loading experience supported by a number of settings and options. I'm hoping there's going to be a tutorial on that because, like I said, WHDLoad can be quite complicated sometimes if you don't know what you're doing. So I'm hoping it's going to be fairly simple. I'm hoping it's a drag and drop experience personally, but I guess we'll wait and see on that one. Plus save resume your game at any time to help you finish those punishingly difficult classics, which is great because there's very few games I think I ever completed on the Amiga, so I'm looking forward to playing some games through, to be honest. The A500 Mini comes with the original style 2-button mouse and a newly engineered 8-button precision gamepad. But the mouse looks very similar to the mouse I used to own for mine, so it's really cool. Here's the software features, emulates A500, A600 and A1200, ECS, OCS and AGA. Save resume your progress at any time, add your own games to WHDLoad, 720p HD display at 50Hz Europe and 60Hz USA, which is great, I love that. Multiple scaling options and CRT filters so you can actually, emulate how it used to look on the old TVs, which is a nice touch. Virtual keyboard. So yeah, you get a virtual keyboard on this one because there's not a working keyboard. With the C64, I never owned the Mini. I only bought the Maxi, well, as they call it, but it's just the C64 basically, which is the one with the working keyboard. I was just too excited to wait for whether they would bring a big one out, because if they do bring the full-size one out of this, it could be 2 years before we see it. So probably if they do bring a full-sizer out, I might be tempted to buy it, but for now you can plug in a US keyboard, which it says there, virtual keyboard and US keyboard support. So I don't think that's a bad option, to be honest. I've got plenty of USB keyboards lying around that I can plug in, so for me, yeah, it'd be nice to have the keyboard, but at the same time, having the mini console is nice because it fits anywhere in on your desk, so you can just sort of and then you just plug in a keyboard like a joystick, really. If you've got I don't know if it supports Bluetooth keyboards, and that's something I don't know, to be honest, but I don't own a Bluetooth keyboard anyway. I'm assuming there are. I mean, actually, to be honest, I don't even know if there are Bluetooth keyboards, but I'm assuming there are. There are Bluetooth mouse and joystick options. I'm sure there is one out there. There must be, but anyway, not sure. Upgradable firmware. They do support their systems very well, so I'm sure they will be adding new games in the future. I'm sure they do that with the C64 sometimes. So what's in the box? You get the A500 Mini home computer, 25 built-in games, the USB mouse, USB gamepad, an HDMI cable, USB-C power cable, which is nice. They only take these mini USB-C power supply things. I've got one of these like multiple USB plugs from IKEA, so it's very handy to have these things you can just plug a USB cable into, and a quick guide. So hopefully that's going to tell you how to use WHDLoad. That's my most important thing. And here's a list of all the games, which we've already gone over, so we don't really need to go over those again. So yeah, I'm very excited for this. I can't wait till March 25th. I'm just so excited. I love the little mini consoles. I've got most of them that have come out so far. So yeah, I'm looking forward to adding this to my collection. Okay, so they've announced 25 games for the system. I'm quite happy with some of them. A bit meh about some of them as well, but what I thought I'd do is, like I said, WHDLoad is a cool feature. I'll probably be adding every single game I can possibly fit on a memory stick, which might be every single one of them yet, but these are the 25 games that, if Someone gave me a blank console and said to me, you can add 25 games yourself. These are the ones I would be adding. Probably, to be fair, Speedball 2 and Kickoff 2 would probably be in there too somewhere. Possibly even Another World. But, you know, I made a list of 25. I'm going to show you the quick video now with all of them flashing up on the screen. And, yeah, as they're going through, I'll probably talk to you about them a little bit. So here we go. Here's the video. Batman the movie came with the system. One of the first games I played on the Commodore Amiga. For me, it has to be on there. I'm quite surprised. I'm wondering if they couldn't get some of these games because of licensing. That can be some of these games that I don't think should have been overlooked personally. And I know that, like, going on a lot of the forums, people also feel the same way. So maybe it's purely a licensing thing that they couldn't get all the games they wanted. We'll get to the ones I'm thinking that should definitely have been on there as we come across them. Personally speaking, I would have put Batman the movie on there, but you know, I guess it's not everybody's cup of tea, so I can probably understand maybe why that one's not on there. Cannon Fodder, Sensible Software, well, to me, that should be on there. Personally, that is one of the best games on the Amiga, as far as I'm concerned. Absolutely awesome. Anyone who's ever played it will probably tell you the same thing. But I'm thinking it's probably to do with licensing, so, you know, we can't give these people too hard a time. They're bringing this amazing console into our lives, and I'm really looking forward to it. But, you know, there's a few games that people I know are not too happy are not on there, but I think, personally speaking, it's got to be licensing, but who knows. Championship Manager 94, this is the end of season 94 add-on to Championship Manager. I mean, we wouldn't have Football Manager now without Championship Manager. It's made by the same people. It's amazing, and still one of those games to this day that I could just play over and over again. It's fun. I spent many hours playing this game, so this has to be on there for me. Desert Strike, Return to the Gulf by Electronic Arts. Yeah, another great game. They brought out a few sequels to this. I'm not 100% sure if I had it on the Amiga. I had it on the Mega Drive, I believe, possibly, but a very fun game. If you've never played it, you've got to check it out. Flashback, I think now everybody knows about this one, or should do. In the history of Commodore Amiga. They have released this recently on multiple consoles, like it's been on the Switch. I've got a video series on here. The first game I ever played for this channel was Flashback on the Switch, and I played it in 9 parts and completed it, which I'd never done in my life before. I'd never completed it actually on the Commodore Amiga, so I'm going to do that probably when I play it on there. But yeah, it's a classic, and for me that should have been on there too. But again, it may be because it's had a recent release that they didn't bother putting it on there. I'm not sure, but anyway, it's a classic. By the same software company, Delphine, you've got Future Wars, which is more a personal game really. I don't know if it's massive or not, but it's one of the first point-and-click adventure games I played on the Amiga. It's complicated. It's got a good sense of humour. I'm looking forward to playing it on here because it'll have auto saves. I can auto save it at various points, because I know there's certain parts in there where you can make a wrong decision and die instantly. So it's one of them games, because of that, I never completed. So I'm looking forward to playing that as well. Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, Lucasfilm Games. And for me, another one that should have been on the 25, but again, could be licensing because Disney now own Lucasfilm, don't they? So, you know, it could have been hard to get hold of that one, I suppose. But it's basically the movie in a point-and-click adventure, and it's fun. And that is one of the few Commodore Amiga games that I did complete back in the day. It came from the desert, Cinemaware, again, Stone Cold classic as far as I'm concerned, and it should have been on there. But for licensing, most probably. I don't know if it might be the fact that they can't get hold of the Cinemaware, because if you see on my list, I do have a lot of Cinemaware games. But yeah, and that game, another game I never completed because it had moments that were very difficult, and there's also quite a strict time limit on the game. But anyone who's ever played it will tell you it's fun, and I'm looking forward to getting back into that on here. Jimmy White's Whirlwind Snooker. Now I'm quite surprised they didn't put this on instead of Arcade Pool. As much as I like Arcade Pool, Jimmy White's Snooker, and they did Archer McLean's Pool as well, I believe, on here, which was the same engine and everything that Jimmy White's Whirlwind Snooker used. So it could have been either one of those ones on here, but it's a very good game, and I'm quite surprised they overlooked it for Arcade Pool. But again, it could be licensing. I don't know. It could just be personal taste. I mean, you know, personal taste is what it is, isn't it? You know. Lemmings, again, most people consider that one of the best games on the Commodore Amiga. If you never heard of Lemmings, I'm pretty sure you have been living under a rock, because it's like one of those classic puzzle type games, and it's a very good game, and definitely will be going on my Mini. Maniac Mansion, another point and click adventure by Lucasfilm Games. Again, it's been on various releases. I think we also had it as a bonus game on some of the Lucasfilm games. I think it was on Day of the Tentacle. You could play a version, which is the sequel. You could play a version of Maniac Mansion. I'm pretty sure you can access it through other games as well, so could be a reason why it's been overlooked, but it is a classic. This is very much a personal choice game. Microprose Golf, I like a golf game. I was going to put PGA Tour Golf, which you could interchange with that, which is another great game, but that is available on all the consoles as well, so I kind of picked one that was more Amiga exclusive. And Microprose Golf is a very good golf game. If you've never played it, check that out. North and South by Infogrames. Yeah, I would say that most people have probably heard of this. Again, it's been re-released. I think it's available on the PS4 under a different name, but it's the same, basically the same game. It's kind of like a strategy game, and it's hard. I've again never finished it, but a lot of fun and a lot of humour as well. You should definitely check that one out. Player Manager uses the Kickoff engine. It's like it's one of the first football game, or the first football game I ever played, where you can control just one player, and you literally are obviously the manager of the team. It's got very basic manager elements, but if you like Kickoff, it's got the Kickoff basically engine on it. The only thing I will say is it doesn't have, like, Kickoff brought out an add-on where you could use aftertouch and everything. Well, this is the first Kickoff, so basically you can only kick the ball straight. So that was the one thing that was a bit, but the management element of it and the fact you control one player is a lot of fun. Trust me, give it a try and see what you think. But I spent many hours playing this game. Prince of Persia Brotherbund. Well, I believe that, you know, it's a classic. It has to be on there as far as I'm concerned. Again, it probably did come out on the other systems, and it may be more famous for being on like the PC and stuff. I don't know. I know it from my Amiga days, and I would suggest that it should be on there as well. Rocket Ranger Cinemaware, again, for me, another classic. Another Cinemaware game though, so I did hear rumours that they have trouble getting licenses for Cinemaware games, Sensible Software and stuff like that, so maybe that's the reason why they couldn't get these games. But another very hard game. The only thing with this game is the copy protect on it is a little bit tricky, shall we say. So I don't know if WHDLoad games, they take that into consideration or not. I'm not sure how it works. Like I said, I'm not very inexperienced with that stuff, but you have to fly to places, and you have to add this thing called Lunarium into your rocket pack to fly. The copy protect, what it does is it gives you the country codes that you want to go to, and it tells you how much you have to add. If you get it wrong by one, then you basically die, and it's the end of the game. So the copy protect is very strict on this game. So that could be the reason why, obviously, there could be issues there. I don't know, they would have probably had to give you a list of all the fuel numbers and everything, and that was probably a bit more than they could handle, really. So I can understand maybe why that one's not on there so much. Sensible World of Soccer, again, it's Sensible Software, so I'm assuming because this and Cannon Fodder were not on the console, that they may have had trouble getting Sensible Software games. But Sensible World of Soccer is absolutely awesome. It's right up there with Kickoff 2. Some people rate it higher, some people rate Kickoff 2 higher. Again, it's down to personal preference. I like both, so I would like to see both on there personally. I don't think you can ever have enough football games, that's my opinion. But yeah, I'm surprised they left that off. Next one I'm definitely surprised they left off, and that's Super Frog by Team 17. It's a great classic platform game. In my opinion, better than Zool, but again, people might like other things better. I've heard some people say they prefer it over Quack as well. I don't know, I've never played it, I can't really talk about that, but it's a good game. Syndicate by Bullfrog. Yeah, I would have thought that would be on there too. Another Stone Cold classic. Again, it's had a re-release on, like, as a first-person shooter on other consoles, but the original game, the top-down, is something else. Definitely give that a try if you've never played it before. And yeah, I'm surprised that's not on there. Yeah, again, you've got a personal choice here, Fairy Tale Adventure by Micro Illusions. It's kind of like a fantasy game. I've got a video up of it on my childhood games playlist, if you want to check it out at any point. it's fun. It's like I said, I think a lot of people have heard of it. It did get a Mega Drive release as well, and it's probably out on Commodore 64 and stuff like that. But it's one to check out if you like your sort of like you've got kind of like Dungeons and Dragons, I guess. You get various little weapons and you get monsters chasing after you. You've got to go from village to village. I'm not actually sure what the point of the story was. I don't remember from back in the day, so maybe I need to look that up. But anyone who's going to play it will probably look it up first. But go check it out. It's fun. Secret of Monkey Island. Well, I know people that are quite livid that this isn't on there, but again, it could be a licensing issue. Again, I'm thinking Lucasfilm, you know, and also the copy protection on this one's a bit of a bitch, to be honest. So again, I can see why maybe they didn't want to go through that hassle. But Secret of Monkey Island is a classic. Anyway, everyone's heard of that one. Right, we've got TV Sports Basketball and Football. Now, obviously, I understand that sports games are not always the most popular, so. But I love TV Sports Football, and if I had to choose one, I probably would have picked that, because it's one of the first games I played on the Amiga. I bought about 5 games with the system, and this was one of them. So yeah, it's a classic, and I would have picked that probably above TV Sports Basketball. I've got videos of both of these on my channel that I've played on my Nostalgia half-hour series. They're just brilliant American football and basketball games. But again, there's cinemaware, and you know, we're not sure if they could have got hold of them, but who knows. We have UFO Enemy Unknown, which everybody knows the modern remakes. This is the original, and it's a great game for the Amiga, strategy game, very good. And yeah, check it out if you haven't played it already. And the last game on the list, another cinemaware game, Wings. You know, you play a pilot in the war, and well, you play a series of pilots, because usually you'll end up dying and having to start with a new pilot. But yeah, it's great fun. Basically dogfighting and you know, during the war, and trying to build up your pilot and get him some medals and get him promoted, and it's great fun and good graphics as well. And yeah, all cinemaware games are pretty much like that. Great fun, good graphics, hard as hell, but you know, fun. And yeah, I'm just a bit disappointed that's not on there. And it sounds like now I've been going over this list that I'm disappointed with the games on the system. I understand that they could only put 25 on. Well, that's the limit they set themselves. I mean, they could have put 100 on there as far as I'm concerned, but you know, they put 25 on basically. Maybe that was for maybe they have restrictions with what they can put in the internal software or whatever, I don't know. But yeah, they didn't do a bad job picking the games. I'm not slagging them off for that, but obviously there's always going to be games, I guess, that you differ on, and you know, these are the ones I differ on. And I'm not saying I would take all 25 of theirs off and put all 25 of mine on. We definitely have a few on there that, you know, I would like to see on there. And probably if we were saying there were 40 games on there, I would probably keep at least 10 of the games that they've put on there. Add my 25, and then probably I got 5 more in reserve, because it was hard making this list for myself just for 25, trust me. So yeah, but the beauty of adding the games with WHDLoad is hopefully you'll be able to put as many on there as you want, and hopefully they'll all be playable. And I'm pretty sure, like I said, that Retro Games Limited will be adding more games to the console. I don't know if they always add like first party games, and sometimes they add a lot of like the independent games that people make, so we might not be getting any more big games, I'm not sure, but who knows, I don't know. But they do support their consoles very well, so I'm pretty sure that down the line we'll see some additions, shall we say. Okay guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you didn't get too bored by my rambling, and you know, just go out and pre-order this console if you haven't already, because if you're a Commodore Amiga fan, if you're new to this and you have never played a Commodore Amiga before, maybe you want to check out some videos, or you can check out the emulation side of things, I guess, to see if it's your bag. But you know, if you're not hot on emulation, or you're not knowing what you're doing with that, or obviously, you know, you want to do it the completely legal way, which is, you know, the best way to do it, obviously, then I suggest buying this console, because you can't go wrong. And you can buy full sets of the WHDLoad ROMs from various places, so you know, you can do it all legally, which is great. You don't have to go down the illegal emulation route if you don't feel comfortable with that. And you know, the Commodore Amiga, if you're into retro gaming, is definitely one of the best systems out there, so don't miss out on that, whatever you do. Okay guys, thank you so much for watching. If you're new to the channel, please don't forget to like the video, subscribe, share it with your friends, get the word out there. You know, it helps the channel, helps me, helps my sanity, and you know, keeps me making videos for you. So I really appreciate that. My social media addresses are on screen. If you have any questions, comments, you know, tell me some of the games you would put on there. You know, tell me if you're happy with the games that are in the list, you know, the 25 that they are putting on the system. Tell me if you're happy with that. Tell me if you're happy with my games, if you think any of my games should be on there as well. You know, let's get a discussion going on this, because I'm sure everybody's got an opinion on what they would like to see on the system, and be interested to hear. Okay guys, thank you so much for watching. Take care, and I will see you on my next video. Bye for now.